Alright everybody, welcome back to the After Show, episode number 23, all about balanced druids. Alright, woo, we're back. Dun, dun, dun. Hello, are you there? You're all
Hey,
there.
I'm
Okay,
here.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, the Coltrane is here. Oh my goodness. Your show was awesome today, by the way, Colt.
Not just Coltrane, but the Coltrane.
It's the Coltrane. Who else would he be?
Yeah, didn't they like crash poor Kira's site? Like Warcraft logs.
Yes, they
Kira
did.
was complaining that
They totally
they
crashed.
sent like 4 or 5 times as much traffic to Warcraft logs as it has ever had before. It was completely Celestalon and Convert to Raid's fault.
Dude,
and I use that in a complimentary way.
Wow. It was. I saw his tweets about it. It was pretty funny. That was good. Yeah. Okay, it's too good. I actually didn't know, Colt, the whole like live raid top-down like weird pixel view that you can watch of your raid if you do advanced combat logging. I didn't know that existed. I was like, ooh. So, no, it's amazing. But yeah, they totally crashed Warcraft logs. It was funny. But if you guys have any questions for us, you send them in over on the Twitters. I know the one question that came in during the show was about Laser Chicken on Illidan US said he's eye level 533 and his DPS only sits between 120 to 150k. So any tips on increasing it? I don't know if you guys have anything specific for increasing your damage on the Thunder Chicken, but I think we really killed it in the show. But anything you can think of off the top of your head?
What was his eye level again?
533.
533 and he's doing 150k. It's probably something to do with his dots. So you need to have really good dot management as a Moonkin. You're not trying to, maintain dots up 100% of the time. It's okay to have them off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you want to push the next eclipse, and that's what people tend to forget most of the time. You're trying to go back and forward, not have 100% dot uptime. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
with the new RPPM trinkets, a lot of times you're trying to make sure you redot when you get those plus the meta, so you need to keep track of the meta, the trinket, and when you're in an eclipse so that you're rolling those nice high powered dots. And kind of like what Cyous touched on, sometimes you will give up a few dot ticks just to push that next eclipse because you want that Nature's Grace for the haste, so you can push the next one even faster, as well as get the hasted dots. And make sure that you are going for the 10,296 haste breakpoint too, if you're not already, and that makes you GCD kept as well.
Oh. What's that number again? Type in chat.
10,296. Like most people above, say like 530, 535 item level should go for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's usually a thing with all the caster classes, at least. There is like a point you want to hit first, and then you can craft from there. So that's good to know, yeah. So 10,296. Alright, good. Perfect. Just a weird little... Wouldn't they just work in like 10s or 5s? Come on now. Ugh, ridiculous. So, we didn't actually... Because the show got a little long, I know chat was asking about the DOPS... The dot snapshotting removal.
I was going to go with that question next.
Yes.
Way to get ahead of me there, Bay.
Oh,
Yes, I was gonna ask how you guys felt about dot snapshotting. Chat brought it up like an hour and a half ago, and I promised to bring it back up. The removal of dot snapshotting next expansion, to be specific.
Yes.
Well, in a way,
I'm set on this. So.
Okay, yeah, we're still gonna have to deal with it in a sense, because of how Eclipse works. I mean, what information kind of we know that Eclipse will probably still keep snapshotting as well as some other abilities in the game, but things like procs and trinkets will not. I mean, those will be dynamic, obviously, and I mean, so we're still gonna have to deal with it pretty much. It's just there's gonna be less management. So we're still gonna have to manage our dots, but we're not gonna have to worry too much about the trinket procs and doing it while Nature's Grace is about to fall off. But we'll still need to make sure that we're redotting before an eclipse ends, or as we enter one, etc.
Okay.
So the gameplay for us isn't really going to change all too much.
Not a ton.
I
think so. Your other classes, especially warlocks, are probably going to have to do a lot of different things with snapshotting. You think? Them and Shadow Priest might be the biggest ones affected. I can't think of the other classes that would matter, because like Elemental has 1 dot. Yeah,
I mean, warlocks, I guess.
Yeah. Warlocks, really, and Shadow Priest, probably, yeah. I mean, overall, it's going to just really alleviate a lot of headache for theory crafting. It's just to know, and then you can, like, when they program it into the sims that you use, your calculators or whatever, that they can just roll the numbers together outside of a couple of key abilities, like Eclipse, you just said. So, yeah. I think it's to be a good change, honestly. I think a lot of theory crafters are going to really have less of a headache to figure out what their damage is. Because when stuff procs, they just do more damage just on that next tick or on that next spellcast automatically, instead of having to, like, we're reapplying, and is there a GCD there, or does your pet get it, or did you not get it? Blah. So.
I don't know if we can really know how it's going to feel until we really start playing with it on the beta, because you can look on paper and say, like, oh, it's going to make life easier for the theory crafters, but so much of how we play and different things that we're used to tracking in our UIs and responding to is based on dot snapshotting. Even for a class like mine that doesn't really have all that much, I mean, we snapshot based on strength. So there are still things that I'm used to watching, and I can't really predict how it's going to feel until I'm there in the beta playing with it and thinking to myself, oh, this, feels better, or, oh, this is so much more boring. And then I'll actually have a feel for how it's going to be. But at least for me, I won't know until I'm playing with it in the game, looking at it on my screen, and then I'll have a feel for how it affects my play.
No, you're totally right. I didn't mean to demean that whole point of it. We'll see a lot of how it's going to change when we actually get into the beta. But compared to how it is now, with all, like, the weak auras or tell me whens or proc watch or something like that, it'll really alleviate a lot of that craziness, I think, to some people. So to the upper crust, to the high-end people, they'll probably still all watch all that stuff, but I think the general raid community, it'll be really helpful.
The damage disparity between players will also be a lot lower because of that.
That's true. That's true. And that'll help people,
right.
like,
I mean,
feel...
but the question is, will that make you feel less like you're excelling when you're playing really well, as opposed to when you're being lazy, if there's a smaller difference between playing lazily and playing perfectly? So.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's more about killing the boss and the boss mechanics. Like, I mean, the DPS numbers, it makes it easier to gauge. Like, one pull, you're not pushing, a breakpoint or, like, a transition, with 30 seconds to spare, then another, pull you're 3 or 4% behind. I mean, looking at it at an actual, like, raid progression standpoint. And we've gotten a lot of that when we were doing, like, Lei Shen. Because everyone was still getting used to how the RPPMs procced and, the changes they made to that, if people got them on the pool or not. Are we going to make this transition? All of a sudden, one pool we're randomly like 2% behind. But other times, it makes that more consistent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was thinking it in the way, too, is that not to, like, put us in our own little... Anna and I already been in the same realm of Blood Legion and Promethean in that sense, so that for the vast majority of the raiding, like, world isn't at that level of Blood Legion and Promethean or above, and they don't have for them it'll make them feel like they're more confident, like they're actually doing better as well, because not everyone has time to either get all of the math or the theory or all that stuff, like, worked on to watch all this stuff. And if the game kind of just, like, works for you, then that'll help that. Because I know some people, like, even the question that came in about, like, being frustrated about your damage, that's a really real thing. So it'll help. That should be nice. But we'll see how it rolls out, because a lot could change. A lot could change. But again, if you guys have any questions, you can send us over at Twitter on FinalBossTV, and we will, in about 15 minutes or so, we can hang out with you guys, or if chat room has anything crazy going on. I know Anna's typing up a storm. What's chat room talking about? Besides day 9.
No, somebody asked about that dot snapshotting. Sorry, can you hear my keyboard?
No.
I'm just staring down instead of at the camera. My fault.
You're fine.
Well, do we have any more questions from the chat room?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to comment a lot on dot snapshotting and such, because, I mean, we don't have beta yet, or beta access.
And it's just like a vague plan. I mean, they haven't said specifically how things are going to work. So basically all you can say about it are, throw off troll comments like Synergy just made in chat about how everything's going to be easy and the game is, going to fail and the sky is falling. Or you can make actual, like, intelligent comments about how the gameplay might change. But we just won't know until we see how it's going to work.
Yep. No, it's a lot up in the air. Like I said, I really hope we're probably going to see beta here. I can't imagine later than March. So we'll know soon enough. I don't like putting a lot of conjecture in the show itself, because I like to have concrete information for you guys. It's like the whole antithesis of the show is to get great players on to like give you real information. And talking at level 100 talents or things coming in 6.0 that we don't know about really doesn't help you. It's just very tinfoil hatty, and we don't have any tinfoil hats to put on right now, so yeah.
Oh, here's a really good question, actually, from Anisi, and I don't think we've heard this from Blood Legion or from Promethean yet. How do you guys plan to handle the transition to 20-man raiding?
If you can talk on it.
No, I
If
get
you
it.
can
I've
say
talked
stuff.
a bunch on it already.
Okay.
I mean, it's only 5 less players if you're asking how we're going to transition. There is
Rest in peace,
usually
Affinity.
there is usually like turnover. Some people do end up getting like new jobs or going back to school. They do quit. I mean, we've had some people who want to go, you know, more casual, and that's fine. Sometimes they come to help us back in progression. But there is always like turnover of a few players. A lot of times we will keep the roster we have now though too, because it's, you know, we have a bigger mix of classes. Like say we want, you know, we want 4 warlocks instead of 3.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to not raid as much, but they need to understand that coming into the guild that we need that kind of, you know, those kind of extra players to be around and whatnot. The biggest, I guess, concern people are saying too is that they're getting rid of 10-man. I mean, as a 25-man guild, it's a lot easier for us to transition with only 5 less players, and we're all really excited because with 1 difficulty, things will be more balanced through encounter design. They won't have to design something to work for 2 different, you know, tiers of rating, and
I want to know.
And a raid
mechanics.
that may be missing specific classes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's the thing. They don't
Like they
they
said
don't have
too.
to design around missing classes anymore.
Yeah.
This is like every raid has an opportunity to have 1 of every single class.
I want to know how excited you guys are going to be. I would love to hear Rig's response or Sko's response if the Asian realms are on the same ladder when Mythic raiding happens. I would.
Oh, I've already heard him. He says definitely. I mean, it.
Oh, they're ready. I know. I'm just,
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. It's a totally different realm on that side of the world for them, and well, that'll be interesting to see though. I'd love to see the race get a lot more competitive. Even though I fear for your health and your sleep schedules. I'm sorry, but it'll be fun to watch, right? It'll be fun to watch.
It'll be an adjustment for everybody, but I think
Yeah.
it'll be healthy for everyone in the long term.
Yeah. What about you, Cyous? What about Prometheans doing? What are you guys up to for the Switch?
So I don't think our roster is going to change that much. People come and go. That's just how it is. Jobs and school and work. I already said jobs, but yeah. So I don't think we're going to do anything different. We're still going to be recruiting. We're still going to be looking for players who want to play on this kind of level. So I kind of fear for 10-mans who do progression a little bit more, because moving up and having to either fill 10 spots, or actually you're going to have to look for 15 other people, really, because, you know, you have to have people to sub out. And you can either merge with another guild, or you can try to recruit people who are as good as you, and that's kind of hard to find when you're asking to literally double your guild size like that.
Yeah.
So I'm more worried about how the 10-mans are going to handle it. 25s will be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. We've addressed that on previous shows with 10-man raiders, but it's just going to be a question that's on everyone's mind for the next couple of months. Well, the next like half a year, and we'll see how it goes. But moving along, I've got another question from Big Fat Cow and from Coltrane. They both asked what other classes do you enjoy besides Boomkin, and is there a class that you'd prefer to play in Warlords? Do you plan to class change at all?
No,
I do not
pretty
plan
much
on going to.
Okay.
I don't plan on. Sorry, we talk at the same time. It happens. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna plan on leveling up to 90 a mage or a warlock. I haven't really decided yet. I'll probably do a /2 or /roll 2, and that's how I'm gonna do that. But I'm probably gonna stay Moonkin because I really enjoy the playstyle, and I'll be doing the beta process a lot. Hopefully, if I don't get in the last wave again. And yeah, that happened. So for other specs I enjoy playing, though, I have an arms warrior, a DK, and a shaman. And my shaman, I enjoy healing on it. It's actually a really fun playstyle. It's different from Resto Druid that I used to play. And warrior is warrior. I just run up to things and wheel up, wheel down, basically. And
No,
DK
you
is
jump
more or
around
less
the
the same.
screen. That's the point of warriors. You
I
jump around
can't- no.
everywhere.
I spam hamstring, Mortal Strike, Colossus Smash, and I press my left half of the keyboard.
The whole left
Roll the
half?
face. Roll
just
the face
whole,
across the
just
keyboard.
your whole hand on it?
I'm not kidding. My entire numpad is bound to slam. So when I slam, it's literally like, slam!
Wow,
In a literal
Rest
sense.
in
Your
peace,
whole camera
headphone
shaking.
users. Sorry. Oh my goodness.
the whole camera shook.
I know, it did. That's how you play a warrior. You have to actually hurt yourself to play a warrior.
I was casting Battle Shout, sorry.
Oh, just Battle Shout? What do you do when you actually do your rotation?
All the minions fear me. With the little curves. I have the Glyphin.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. What about you,
It's fun.
Zoom?
I'm definitely saying Moonkin. I've fell in love with the class like back in Burning Crusade and sticking with it. I mean, I do have an alt mage that I play, and not to sound too trolly, but I mean, I play it because to me it's like easy.
It's
like
easy mode,
it's the
Moonkin?
same role, and all I gotta do is spam like arcane blast, some missiles back and forth, whatever. So I don't have to do any of that tranking, any of that raid utility stuff. I can just focus on hitting that arcane blast button or fireball button. But,
An arcane blast
I
button.
know everyone will blow up saying that mages aren't, but to me it feels like I'm at least on my alt.
Well, everyone's allowed to have like a personal opinion of how they think another class plays compared to their class. I mean, so that's fair.
Yeah.
I have another question for you guys. Chad actually hasn't brought it up, but we ask it in almost every show, and I don't think we've gone into it. Are there any specific add-ons that you recommend for Moonkins in particular? I mean, I know there's general add-ons that people like, but are there anything specifically that you think people should be using to track the things that are important to you as a Moonkin?
It's kind of like how you said before, you need a dot timer. I mean, I use Forte Exorcist, which kind of tracks. You need to have something that tracks dots on multiple targets, is the thing. And
It's
a lot
been
of people
so
use
hard to
techniques
find
too.
one of those. I mean, Forte will do it. I've
Yeah.
I've been looking for one for Censure forever because I've wanted to track Censure on off targets. But Forte will do it. Raven will do it depending on how you have it set up. But a lot of the other popular dot trackers don't track dots on not your target, not your focus.
Well,
kind
I
of
see a
fun.
lot of people too also use tidy plates saying that and have it kind of like
That's
the
what I
icon
do.
over their frame.
Yeah, that's
And
really
they
nice.
kinda
Tiny
use
plates
it
will
too.
do it well.
Yeah.
LVUI has that functionality built into the nameplates as well. Little icons over the nameplates.
Yeah, I do that for Flame Shock, but sometimes Flame Shock doesn't like to spread. So I'm like, all right, let's Fire Nova for 240 damage when it should have hit me like 3 million. I'm like, all right, Flame
But
Shock.
the point of having a dot tracker is that you should know if Fire Nova if Flame Shock hasn't spread. So.
Correct. Yeah, I know. Well, on the tidy plates though, you don't always see them all. If all over your screen are they're all compacted, it just depends. Yeah, but there is nothing. Does Quartz won't do it? Will it? I know Quartz will track your own target. Won't do other.
It'll
targets.
only track one target. in
Yeah.
Quartz. Yeah.
Huh.
More than one dot tracker will only track your target and your focus, and it's
Yeah.
just really irritating. I guess it must be harder to track just off targets, but
Yeah, maybe.
it took me forever. I finally got Raven to do it, which is nice.
Well, you're not referring to a unit, you're referring to something that happened in the past. So it's basically its own timer. So if something happens, it's not going to update it. So it's a little CPU intensive, I would assume. And most of the add-ons are trying to be really low on CPU usage. So.
Yeah.
Yep,
that's
which
true.
is reasonable. That's good for us all as users, but still kind of irritating. Is Forte still updated? I thought that for some reason the author was not updating it anymore.
It still works up to now.
still
I use
works.
It, so.
It still works, but the question
Yeah.
is it updated?
If it
I'm
works, it
not
doesn't
too
need
sure on that
updating.
one.
Okay, there we go. If it works, it doesn't need updating.
Yeah.
Thus,
It's like
FPS
plate
losses
buffs.
for everyone.
Yeah, I've had a lot of. There's a couple add-ons I use that haven't been updated, and for everything they still work just fine. It's weird. Usually, it's just like the interface number in the like numpad isn't the
TSC.
current version of the game, and that's what throws it off. Everything else works fine though.
See, Niston brings up a good point. I actually used to use weak auras to do it, and everyone says that, oh, weak auras will do anything that you want it to do. Weak auras will do anything in the game, and it will make you coffee and clean your kitchen. Like, no, weak auras will do it,
Really?
but sometimes the auras bug out and they like sit on the bottom of my screen and then they don't go away. So I used weak auras for like 6 months to track Censure, but
Yeah.
it just didn't. I didn't like using weak auras to track dots. They just stay there and they don't go away, and it's really annoying. Which is why I started using another add-on to track dots on my off target.
Yeah.
But But I guess if Forte works, then that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I use tidy plates, so.
Yeah.
Use tidy plates.
Tidy plates works.
But it's kind of weird. I don't use tidy plates in the sense that I'm looking at the seconds that are left on the dot. I kind of just know how many dots I've casted, and 14-second dots. Okay, I have 9 seconds left. So what's 9 seconds worth of casting? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
It's like basic math and a little bit of memory, I guess, would be a good way to put it.
Sure. Like, we didn't really touch on it in the show about how much, like, feature sight you need or how complex your rotation is, but, like, after a certain point, everyone's main class is super easy to you. You're just used to it. It's when you play another class, you're like, what is this button? And I have to, what is that I'm looking for? And, oh my god, that's what you look on, like, do I need an add-on to track all this stuff? Do I need this to through that? And whatever. So, that's when it gets a little overwhelming, but... Spazzo, Weak Ore is the best, no question. Weak Ore is good. It's good.
I mean, Weak
Tell me
Ores
one's easier
is...
to use.
Yeah, tell me one's easier to use. Weak Ores is amazing, very powerful. I use it for 10 billion things. It's just that one specific thing. I know it. Everyone says it does off-target dot tracking, and I'm just pointing out I've used it for many months, and it's not perfect. It works, but it's not perfect, and I did switch to something else.
Weak Ores is really good for making gold, too.
For making...
what? Do you know the
Oh,
exploit?
yeah.
It's really good for making gold.
Well, it doesn't work like that anymore, does it?
No, I think they removed
We are not going to spread that kind of information around on our show.
It's already been blocked. It's
already been blocked. Well, I only have 3. I actually was logging on to WoW today to check up on my character and stuff after I'd been gone for a week, make sure everything was still where I left it. And I realized I have 4K gold to my name. Literally across all of my characters, I have 4K, and I don't know how this happened.
Did you leave with more gold?
No,
or did you leave with less gold?
I've been so lazy about logging in, because I've just been logging in for raid and buying, pots and flasks and like doing garrosh and just like, that's all I've been doing. And I log in and I realize, I've been gemming and enchanting 2 sets, and of course my tank gear changes all the time, so I'm always re-gemming and re-enchanting all of my tank gear as those pieces change. And I don't really like concentrate on making money, and we have to do get some gold sellers, not gold sellers. We have to get some gold makers, some gold experts on the show, so babe, so they can tell me what to do, babe. Please.
Hang on, I'm reaching for it.
Here's a really simple tip.
I'm reaching for it. I can't get it.
There's a really simple tip. All you have to do is have a transmute spec alchemist, and you make basically 100 gold a day from your transmute itself. And if you just keep transmuting gems. I made literally 100 primal gems when my warrior was on Sargeras. I brought him to my server, and I've sold 60 primal gems plus other gems that I had. I've already made 50k back, and I invested 12k. So
I don't make
gems.
money. I just held it up. You guys don't see it, but I'm holding up Elvine's business card.
Yes.
I know. I was gonna say. I didn't know if I should say.
If this is gonna be a special.
No, we have to get Elvine on the show. I was talking
gold making episode.
Yeah, no,
I was in Atlanta yesterday, and I was really bummed out. I wanted to go find him to have coffee or something, but we had just gotten off the plane from Honduras, and I wanted to drive home to Charlotte. Yeah. But yeah, no, we should totally get him on. He's a super cool guy, and he can teach me all of the things.
All the things.
To know how to make gold.
I have it planned. Yep. I mean, just so the chat knows. Every 3 to 4 episodes we do, I like to do I call them the community episodes, where we bring on people that aren't the top players. Like we had the Nobble and Silver Lotomi episode, we had the Fat Boss episode with Alex, we had the one last week with Coltrane and Brutal. There are ones that kind of break up the flow of only talking about classes and kind of dig into the other side of the community, which is the awesome players, awesome people that make great content or YouTube videos or other online personalities. So yeah, if anyone's coming on the show for a gold making episode, it'll definitely be Elvine. As long as he wears the pink wig, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can talk him into it.
For the after show, anyway. He'll watch it. He'll wear it for the after show. That's fine. But yeah. No,
One
absolutely.
day soon, hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah.
See, now he's been called out. Now he can't avoid being on the show.
Oh, well, I've already locked him in. He's fine. Just he's waiting.
I don't know if he's watching right now. I'll let him know that he was mentioned.
Yeah. No, I like how Arv types one thing in chat and gets message deleted. Good job, Arv.
Oh, poor Arv. I'm out of questions though at this point. So, Chad, if you've got anything else, that you want to ask our pro Moonkins here.
I'm checking the emails. Has nothing new, so I don't think. And Twitter, tons of awesome new followers. Thank you guys very much. A lot of how this show gets around to, that everyone has to, you know, help us out, really. We're still very young in this whole development phase here, but we've had some amazing episodes. If you've missed an episode before and you want to go back and watch something, I had it pulled up here a second ago, but and this is our 23rd episode. So if you have a class that you may have want to watch an episode of, you can go right over here. I mean, holy crud, we've got episodes and after shows for Holy Paladins and Feral Druids and Hunters and Brewmaster Monks and Affinity and randomly on just because. There's the Alex one, Fat Boss, and Mistweaver Monks and Shadow Priests and tons more stuff. You can go over to our YouTube. I have all the VODs right there.
Oh, we have a question.
Okay.
We got another one that came in just before we stop here.
Sure.
Actually, like 3 people in chat asked this one. Hexagon asked it, and Celestalon asked it. So name your favorite boss this expansion for Zoomkins and Cyous. And I think we might have to set Lei Shen aside because everyone likes Lei Shen.
Does Celestalon
The
not
entire
know?
expansion?
Yeah, the entire expansion.
So if we take off Heroic Lei Shen, outside of him, our favorite boss, because I think everyone says that. So.
Well, maybe, I mean, I might want to be counter to the norm and say not Heroic Lei Shen. No, I really liked Heroic Lei Shen.
Okay.
Not heroic, just normal mode then.
Just.
Yeah, I don't know if we all have enough experience in normal mode to say what was our favorite normal
I don't
mode.
know. Like through the entire expansion, I think like Empress was really fun because we did our little strat where we went like
because
Heart
you
of the
go world
Wild
first?
tank and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, everyone's gonna say that because we got world first or whatever, but I just thought it was really fun because we got to use, I mean, a druid in its like pure sense, where they use multiple forms. You know, they use multiple, like, you know, hybrid abilities. So we ended up having people like me and the other Moonkin, Heart of the Wild, go bear form. We stacked like shield wall from, from warlocks. And then we got like crazy vengeance, and we were like thrashing and swiping and deep AoEing the bosses down. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Empress is pretty fun.
For me personally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have to say that since Celestalon said it was for all 4 of us, so I'll answer 2, and then we can go on to our other guest.
Sure.
I liked Lei Shen, but we've spent a lot of minutes on Lei Shen. I liked Siegecrafter a lot because I did a variety of stuff. At first I was on the ground. We put other people on the belt team because my AE at that gear level when we first did Siegecrafter, my AE with my 4-piece was really strong on those ads, and we were just chain stunning them with those engineering belts that should have been broken. But then I went up onto the belt every time we had someone who couldn't do the belt, or one of our belt team like disconnected or died a whole lot or was offline for that week. Then I would go up on the belt. So I kind of got to see a lot of different parts of that fight. I got to see different pieces of it. And it was a really cool fight. I think a lot of people really like Siegecrafter.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think had I been main spec DPS for Will, that one would have also been one of my favorites because I thought the dance was really cool. And I liked the whole experience of doing that fight and figuring out what all the timers were for DBM so that we could fix DBM for all the people who saw it after us.
That's true.
Was really cool. It was a very cool experience. And we didn't do the cheaty Ring of Frost strat, so I thought that just the organization that was required for that fight was really cool. But I had to tank it, so it was really boring for me. But when I got to DPS it was really fun.
I think, to go off of your Siegecrafter note, I think there's a lot of similarities between Heroic Lei Shen and Heroic Siegecrafter, whereas it's personal responsibility that is controllable outside of, like, personal responsibility that's, like, pretty random, like Heroic Paragon or something like that, that is outside of your realm of direct control. Like, Heroic Lei Shen is all within your control. You push the boss when you want to, you move him when you want to, all that stuff is you. Same thing with Siegecrafter. You kill the right missiles, you position them where you want to, you have to deal with them in a certain way, but there's no, like, oh, what's this? You know, like that happens in some encounters. So they're...
I will say that the week I tanked Spoils was also really fun.
Oh?
That was kind of fun as well.
Just all the numbers, all the AoE and stuff?
Well, just like opening all the boxes. I was sitting there in vent, what order do I open all the boxes in? Like, and we're in 2 different groups, so the other tank isn't in Mumble with me, and I'm like, what order do I open things in? What do I open next? Tell me where to go. But of course, like if you wait to be told, you're too late. So I was opening boxes while I was asking all of this stuff. It was so much fun. I loved it. I thought that fight was really fun.
We'll do Cyos's and then I'll do mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cyos, what do you think, Cyos?
Well, obviously it's Heroic Lei Shen, but let's not say Lei Shen.
Okay, next.
Yeah. So I actually have 2 favorite ones. Shaw of Fear Heroic, when you actually get into the next phase, because that was It
phase
wasn't
where Blizzard
hard.
forgot to build a background.
Well, yeah. Well, it was fun in the sense that everything you did was amplified later on in the fight. So if you were slow or you didn't kill something quickly enough, it would hurt you later on, and that was fun. And, you know, you really got to shine when you were trying to min-max movement as much as possible. It was very, very intense when I killed it with Angry on Illidan.
Okay.
Very, very fun fight, and I loved it. And the other one I really liked was Elegon. That fight, for me, felt... It wasn't intense like it was Shaw of Fear, but the concept of it, where you had these pillars and you had to kill the pillars so that you can move on to the next one and eventually meet up with the team again. And you're based on, at the time, the Berserk time was pretty tight. So,
Yeah.
it was, for me, it was unique and it was new and different. And that's why I like that one too.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you on like the mechanical fights. I'm actually gonna give a fist bump here to Noble and liking counters that have a lot of, say, like lore involved in them, or at least have some tie-in in the dungeon. So I always kind of really like Terrace Endless Spring and then Heroic Lei Shi, because when you defeat Lei Shi, then she like sacrifices herself so you can actually fight Shaw of Fear. I always thought that was really neat, that a boss that you just basically cleanse to help you then to actually fight the final boss, to then cleanse, of course, the Terrace. Where it really reminds me of Sunwell with Anvina, how she, spoiler alert, Anvina kills herself to empower us to fight Kill Jing and push him back. And that was really interesting to me. I like fights that have sort of a lot of story involvement in them, or like in the dungeon repercussions that happen. Not just like, I guess you could say Kaligos helps you too a little bit in Sunwell as well. But I like those kind of tie-in bosses that are not only good mechanically, but they also have like an outside tie. I like the lore tie bosses.
Did you like Sinestra then? Because Sinestra had some of that.
The problem with me liking Sinestra is I never really experienced her at level. Like, I wasn't at that stage in the game to actually see her after that, so I don't really know how she was at gear level, because I killed her the next expansion. That's me, my one noob moment of the shit. Damn. So...
I like that fight. I got to tank that fight.
For a lore moment, yeah, no, she's pretty awesome, honestly. I mean, she's the only black dragon that survived mating with Neltharion, which is a feat in of itself. So, it was pretty cool, yeah. But like, currently stuff, yeah. Lei Shi's voice, though, aww.
Yeah, that's okay. Sinestra's voice is always the worst. Not Sinestra. Syndragosa.
Syndragosa. Oh, goodness me.
Syndragosa's voice will live in infamy forever.
We used to call her the old smoking grandma. In my old raid, because that's what she sounded like. Oh, terrible. I can't imagine that voice actress. Hopefully they did that all in post. That would have hurt, but okie dokie. Was there something else you had, Anna, as well?
Well, there's some people asking for what our least favorite bosses were.
Yeah,
let's hear from that, because that's chat. Yeah, a bunch of people in chat have been asking that.
What's the big fat bug in Heart of Fear again? The huge one.
That really doesn't narrow it down. Oh, Garrelon.
Garrelon, yeah, that was.
Oh my God, the hitbox on Garrelon.
No, thank you.
You would be facing like with the leg behind you and meleeing the leg. It was the worst thing. You had this experience, right, Bae?
No, it's awful. It was probably one of the. It was a neat.
The hitbox and the graphic were not the same.
But no, it was a. Ugh, no, I did not enjoy that fight at all.
I literally changed my UI for that fight because trying to target those nameplates was impossible.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I can't click on the nameplate, so I'm just gonna literally put the boss frames in the middle of my screen, and I'm just, if it's up and it's in range, I'm dotting it. That was it.
I have I find making target macros works for that, and I think can you also keybind targeting boss frames?
You can.
Yes, slash target boss 1, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
I think that's what I did.
Yeah, except that didn't work for that fight because the legs would change boss values.
And the same name.
Oh, yeah.
And they have the same name.
Yeah.
See,
so
okay.
You can target the body.
We used to target, we had the add-on that would put raid markers on the legs, and then we would target off the raid markers. Like, we'd slash target raid marker macro, so yeah. That's how I think we did it back in the day.
I don't remember.
It's funny
why
how,
we
like,
didn't
my
have to do
experience
that.
looks so much different with that fight.
Yeah?
Yeah, we didn't,
like-
we didn't target specific legs. Like, we just killed them.
Well, I mean,
really all that was to
we
do.
would leave one up for like the tags to cleave off of or whatever and stuff like that. And we'd only kill the back two. We'd only kill the front left one if like we were about to push them really fast or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. But that
The
fight
same thing. We
mechanically
only
was-
had people cleave.
Yeah.
Like I just sat there on the boss the entire time.
Yeah.
We only had specific people cleaving. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then what
Well,
about
that
you?
was before they nerfed it.
You said your experience was very different. Zoomkins,
Yeah,
So
Zoom.
what did?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, we had mainly warriors and rogues cleaving because they got the damage bonus, obviously, beforehand that cleaved onto the boss. And we would just have them do that, and I would just sit there on the boss because the more damage that they get to do to the legs, the more damage that goes to the boss. So if I hit the legs or killed the legs, it would take away from their damage.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, literally for me, it was like doing absolutely nothing in that fight aside from getting pheromones and running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. I mean, Rhett's had a lot of fights that are like that. I mean, in terms of what my least favorite fight is, I would have to define why. Because some of my least favorite fights to do have not been my least favorite fights design-wise. I would say my least favorite fight to do in this entire expansion was Council. And Council in
Troll
T15.
Council?
Troll Council.
Yeah.
Because you could literally see nothing. Like you took a video. There were videos of that fight from melee perspective, and it was like clouds and like crap and like pile of spell effects, and then like the warlocks would do the green fire, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna put my sunglasses on to raid today. It's just so bad. You can't see anything.
Okay.
That fight, I honestly whispered my guild leader and said, "How much can I PayPal you to sit me on this fight?"
Wow.
Also, I'm Rhett and my damage sucks.
And that
on
was
Council.
Awful.
Awful.
Before they fixed a lot of like the smart targeting stuff, so the frame rate issues we had while raiding were so bad. So not only are the bosses overloading us with graphics, we've got all of our yeah.
And the thing that really kills me is that I love council encounters. I really, really like, as a player, as a raider, I love encounters that make me think about when I'm target switching and think intelligently about where I am with regard to 3 different mobs or 4 different mobs. As melee, when they're moving around a lot, you have to do a lot of sort of preemptive knowledge of where where the bosses are going to go and think ahead, especially as melee that doesn't have a whole lot of gap closing ability. And I love that on paper or in a 10-man raid.
Yeah.
I love doing that kind of thing, and it just it frustrates me so much. And I had the same experience on Paragons. I was just so angry, and the ability on Paragons that just made me be like, did anyone at Blizzard even look at this? Is the ability where Eocook does the black dome over his head. He does a black opaque dome that covers all of melee range. And you're like, who looked at this? Did anybody like open their eyes and see what this is going to look like in the encounter?
Pretty cool, though.
It looks awesome, but if you're underneath it and the fire lines are going out at the same time because that's when he casts the fire line.
Yeah.
And Paragons, I would put Paragons in like one of my top 5 favorite fights of the whole expansion. I thought Paragons was awesome, but doing it drove me nuts. I never wanted. It made raiding actively unpleasant.
They do that sometimes too with certain spell effects. Like I remember on Sartharion, his like void zone things were red, and you couldn't see it because you're in a giant freaking volcano. Everything's red. Everything's tinted red. And they changed it to like this blue purple, but it was like so faint you couldn't really even see it anyway. So coloring it, I'm sure, is a hard port to get in.
Yeah,
so.
and they want it to all look very visually attractive, so they want the colors to match and stuff. It's just for me, it's just the overload. And I know that they know it's a problem, and I want to see what they're going to fix it. But they've known that for like 3 tiers, and then I heard a whole lot of stuff like, "Hey, we're making, great changes for tier 16," and then it's like, "Oh yeah, we toned down like 2 spell effects by like 5%. You see anything different?" I'm like, "No, it looks the same. You didn't fix anything." We'll see.
So you said you didn't like Troll Council?
I didn't like doing council, because they're small boss models. It's when they're small models that it's worst for melee.
So what was your opinion on Tortos? Because honestly, that one was so fun to be knocked up by turtles every time you landed.
That must be different.
I had so much fun
with
it.
I'm melee, so I sit there on the side of the boss and I pew pew until the boss is dead.
That must be a different fight for ranged. Yeah, you guys have to like play hopscotch the whole 7-minute burn. Ugh.
I think I have a video of it. It's awful.
Fights.
One of the worst fights? Okay.
The worst thing is, if you're on slowing duty, oh my. Okay, you have to get that one, but you have to get that one before that one, and you're killing X, and you don't slow X, and the melee can't, kind of cleave off of it as much, so they kind of run off, and you slow down a little bit, and all this little stuff happens, then you're knocked up, then you're out of range of the kick, and you wipe.
Yep, and you wipe.
Oh, Cameron brings something up on Gallicrass. It's actually not. You must be Horde because I hear Horde have it worse. With the fire is all the same color, but for Alliance we have blue. We have Jaina does a blizzard. But the worst spell effect on Gallicrass is you have those stallions that come out, and they do this this purple ground effect in front of them in a cone. They do a little skinny cone effect in front of them, and it actually hurts quite a bit. But it is completely obscured. It's basically got the lowest level of graphic. It's obscured by anything else that happens. Anything else friendly, anything else that the encounter does. So that little tiny cone, and it's actually a cool ability with a very clear telegraph, except for the fact that it's overridden by everything else.
Everything else. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of ground effects that are completely opaque compared to just like, you know, a translucent circle on the ground that just completely overwrite shit. Or, yeah, stuff.
Sorry,
No, it's
chat.
okay.
When you ask me what my least favorite boss is, it's gonna end.
Hey, we didn't have any Anna Rage in the main episode, and the last episodes were totally Anna Rage free, so Rageafielle can come out now and then. It's okay. It's fine. And Coltrane hates Tortos as well, so thumbs up.
I'm surprised nobody said Animus, though.
I like
tanked
Animus, though.
I actually really liked Animus. I tank. I'm the third tank for my guild, so I tanked that fight. It was fun.
Did you ever have people swap in, then wipe you 2 seconds later?
Oh, well, that was one of the fights that suffered from Terran Gorfine syndrome. Like Heroic Paragon suffered from Terran Gorfine syndrome. So
We had a
No,
few.
it was easier to wipe the raid on Animus than it was on
Oh,
Terra.
sure. One person
By a
moves.
very large.
In my
a little bit
opinion,
this way.
Animus got harder the more gear you got because you'd kill the minions faster.
You wouldn't want to, yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh look, I can't do what I'm used to doing, and it's almost dead, and somebody killed it. We died.
Yeah.
It's like you hope it gets the little heal effect, but then you're taking like double damage.
Well, I hope
I just the big numbers on that fight when my vengeance would get up and I'd pop Holy Avenger and Avenger Shield didn't suffer. The AE reduction on the mobs, Avenger Shield was not subject to that, so Avenger Shield would hit at full strength, and oh my god, those big numbers were the best thing. So I actually really liked that fight. I liked Animus quite a bit.
Yeah, Animus was pretty fun. I thought it was interesting. Again, it was a fight you controlled perfectly. You controlled where the enemy went. You controlled when the phases changed. That's all you did. There was some player error that would cause you to wipe, but if you did the fight mechanically properly, it was fine. Yeah. And it was neat. Like I like that multiple mobs, kind of like what those Russian China dolls, stack them up, whatever. It was like all part of one big doll. So that was kind of cool. Had like a little theme to it. It was neat. It was the roadblock of that tier though, because you had to wait for everyone to get their job totally right, but that's fine. Because Iron Khan was a face roll. It was just a Zerg. So they made up for it. But yeah. Anything else on you guys? I think chat room was pretty good. We're over after show time. So I just want to make sure we all have... I hope that helped you out, Celestalon. I hope that's good.
We try.
I want to get that
Ask
GIF.
me to rant again. I'm always down.
I want to grab that from the VOD actually and gift that. When you... The head slam. Oh, man, it was good. That would be a good Rageafielle gift. That'd be fun. But I think that's everything from us here. I'm going to hit the button and go around the table one more time. Again, from Promethean, Cyous, thank you very much for being here, sir. Twitter, CyosKin.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome. Thank you, sir. And then, of course, from Blood Legion, Zoomkins. Zoomkins BL on the Twitter. Thank you, sir. You muted yourself. You muted, sir. Nope. Gotcha.
Thanks for having me. Yeah,
Absolutely.
there we go.
Yeah.
That works.
Nope, that's fine. For those that wondering in the chat room, real quick, this is the after show, so we just kind of talk about whatever the chat room brings up. The main show will be on the VOD on YouTube later. So, and as well, Rageafielle on Twitter. I don't know if you rage as much on Twitter, but it'll help people follow you. So when you do,
I do. I try to limit. I try to limit it, and I try to change it to like 75% cheerful, 25% rage at most.
Okay.
But yeah, you should follow me on Twitter because there is sometimes rage on Twitter as well, and trolling. Sometimes trolling too.
Awesome.
People were enjoying that earlier in the show.
Really cool. Very well. And then there's me. I'm over on Twitch TV, BayTLM. That's where you'll find me. Again, next week's show is Prot Paladins with Trekkie of Method and Slootbag of Midwinter. So we'll talk about Prot Paladins for like 17 hours. No, probably like 5 minutes. Shield of Righteousness, OP, whatever. But we'll talk about those next week. 1 p.m. PST, 4 EST, 10 CET. We're here on Final Boss TV. Thank you guys very much again for watching, and we will see you all next week. Have a fun reset and a fun week at work. I go back tomorrow after the holidays. Ugh. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.